Lesson 11.3 Quadrilaterals. Okay, before we talk about our polygons, the quadrilaterals, we're gonna have to understand two things. First thing is what parallel lines. What are parallel lines? They are lines that are always the same distance apart and they never meet. So these two lines are parallel. Okay, it's like the train railway. Okay, the train railway looks like this. It is two lines, okay, and there are these wooden bars that are connecting them, but these two iron rods or these two lines, they never meet. They are always the same distance apart and they never meet. Okay, so these lines are parallel. Okay, perpendicular lines are lines that connect to form a right angle. These two lines are perpendicular because the angle in between them is 90 degrees. Okay, so these two lines are perpendicular. Okay, there are 5 special types of quadrilaterals that can be classified by their properties. Okay, so the polygon, the quadrilateral polygon, we have 5 special types of quadrilaterals of this polygon. Okay, we have a trapezoid, a parallelogram, a rectangle, rhombus, and a square. These are our 5 special quadrilaterals. Types of quadrilaterals. Okay, first one is the trapezoid. It's a quadrilateral with at least 2 parallel sides. So a quadrilateral, which means it has 4 sides, 4 angles, and 4 vertices. Okay, and it has at least 2 sides that are parallel. Okay, they are the same distance apart and they never meet. Here are our 2 parallel sides. So it must have at least 2 parallel sides. Okay, the next one is the parallelogram. A trapezoid with opposite parallel sides and they are also congruent. Okay, so the opposite sides are parallel and they are congruent, they are equal to each other. The opposite sides are parallel, okay, and they are equal, they are congruent. Okay? Okay. The rectangle is a special parallelogram. Okay, so it's a kind of this one that has all angles for right angles. So the 4 angles are right angles and it has 2 opposite sides that are parallel and equal, 2 opposite sides that are parallel and equal. So it looks exactly like this parallelogram, but it's like shifted or like adjusted to have all right angles, since this one doesn't have right angles anywhere. Okay? Okay. The rhombus. The rhombus is a special parallelogram with all sides congruent and opposite sides parallel. Okay, so it looks exactly like this parallelogram, except it has all equal sides. So all the sides are equal. Okay? Okay. And we have the square, which is the only regular polygon in all these shapes. Okay? It's a special parallelogram, so it's a kind of a parallelogram as well. Okay? With all sides equal, all angles equal, right angled and equal. Okay? And opposite sides parallel. So the opposite sides are parallel to each other, and here are the opposite sides that are parallel to each other. All angles are 90-degree angles, therefore all angles are equal, and all sides are also equal. Okay? Okay, so these 3 shapes come from the parallelogram, and this parallelogram comes from a trapezoid. Okay, so if you have any one of these shapes, okay, it is a parallelogram. Like this shape is a parallelogram. It's a special one that is called a square. And this shape is a parallelogram, a special one that is called a rectangle. And this shape is a parallelogram that is a special shape and it's called a rhombus. Okay? The parallelogram itself is a trapezoid, which means all these shapes are trapezoids. So if we look at this triangle here, we have square, rhombus, and rectangle. All of these shapes are parallelograms, and all parallelograms are trapezoids. Okay? Okay, here we have 3 examples. Okay, we are supposed to classify the quadrilaterals in as many ways as can be, or as many ways as possible. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Okay, what is the name of this quadrilateral? Which shape it is? Now we know that we have 5 special shapes of quadrilaterals. We have trapezoid, parallelogram, a rectangle, a rhombus, and a square. Okay, so the first one, it has two opposite and parallel sides, okay? And these two sides are equal, but they are not parallel to each other. So it has at least two parallel sides, but there's nothing else special about it. So this can fit as a trapezoid. Can it be a rectangle? No. Can it be a square? No, because all sides of the square must be equal and all angles are right angles. Okay, the rectangle has to have all right angles and opposite sides are parallel to each other and they are equal. Okay, and it can't be a parallelogram because a parallelogram has to have its opposite sides. The opposite sides, facing sides, are supposed to be equal and parallel. And these opposite sides are supposed to be equal and parallel, and all angles are not right angle triangle, or not a right angle, sorry. So this is only a trapezoid. Okay, let's take a look at this one. It has at least two parallel sides. And these two sides are are parallel as well. Okay, the opposite sides are parallel and equal. The opposite sides are parallel and equal. And all angles are right angles. Okay, so this is a rectangle. Okay, and remembering the triangle that I drew here at the back of this board, okay, it said that if it's a triangle, if it's a rectangle, okay, then it is a parallelogram. And if it is a parallelogram, it is a trapezoid as well. Okay, let's take a look at this example. We have opposite sides that are parallel and equal. And here we have the opposite sides that are parallel and equal as well, but all angles are not right angles. So this is a parallelogram. Can it be a rhombus? No, it's not a rhombus because a rhombus has to have the opposite sides are supposed to be parallel and all sides are supposed to be congruent or equal. So it's a parallelogram, but it's not a rhombus, it's not a square, and it's not a rectangle. Because a rectangle has to have 90-degree angles everywhere. 90-degree angles everywhere. Okay? So it's a parallelogram, and if it's a parallelogram, that means it's a trapezoid as well.